Hello, it's Vaughan Schofield from Belvoir. I've been reading an article recently in a professional magazine of mine where it said that 63% of landlords who self-manage their own properties are now open to actually going to an agent to get them to manage their properties. 32% of them said repairs were the biggest bane of their lives. I can understand it. It can be challenging. It can be very difficult. It takes an awful lot of legwork and multiple telephone calls very often to remedy even a simple problem, let alone a complicated one. 30% were saying that the new legal requirements was becoming more and more stressful. And certainly in Wales, it has become a far more of a challenge for landlords, because now you do need to have the time to devote to your property to ensure that you're legally compliant. Another 30% said finding tenants was an issue. If you're self-managing, you tend to have to rely on anything from Facebook to having written references. My personal view is written references are useless. If you want to produce a reference for yourself, you're hardly going to ask somebody who doesn't like you to write you a reference. So they're always going to be loaded statements in that references that gives one person their own perspective on that particular individual. 29% was about knowledge of market, that they believed an agent would have a greater knowledge of market. And within knowledge of market, I think, is also the actual rent that's achievable at any time. Because one thing I have found about most, I would say overwhelmingly most self-managed landlords, is that they tend to not undertake annual rental reviews. They have taken the attitude traditionally that if a tenant pays on time, is looking after the property, that is enough of a reason to keep the rent at that level, because you don't want to lose them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the landscape's changed. Rental prices have gone up, and if you haven't reviewed your rent for 3 or 4 years, you are lagging behind at least £100, possibly more, per month on what your property is, what's the rental market value for your property. And certainly with an agent, you would be given an annual review. Certainly a reputable agent will give you an annual review of what your property is worth on the open rental market today. 27% of landlords, their principal reason for going to an agent was the avoidance of fraud and scams, and it's becoming an increasingly complicated and very creative world that we live in. We've got to be on our guard. And there was 16% who said they would not switch. They would always prefer to self-manage. If you are having thoughts in terms of wanting or thinking about exploring with an agent to see how much it would cost, what the benefits would be in terms of an agent managing your property or property portfolio, please give me a call. I think you'll find that very often there is no net increase in cost to you, and principally because the market rental valuations will be at a level that will cover any management cost that you would incur from ourselves.